Stop scrolling. If you're planning to fly anywhere in 2026, what I'm about to tell you could save you hundreds of dollars and prevent you from being turned away at the airport. Right now, millions of Americans are being fed misinformation about new travel rules, and some are deliberately designed to scam you out of your money. I spent weeks digging through official government documents, airline contracts, and TSA regulations to separate fact from fiction. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's real, what's fake, and how to protect yourself. Let's address the rumor causing panic across the country. You've probably seen the headlines. Paper passports are obsolete. You need a smartphone app to fly internationally. Or, no digital wallet means no travel. Here's the truth. Your traditional blue United States passport book is not going anywhere. It remains the internationally recognized gold standard for travel documentation. It's the only document guaranteed by international treaty to grant you entry into foreign countries. Not a single airline or government has banned physical passport books in 2026. So where is this confusion coming from? Airports are rolling out digital ID lanes and mobile driver's licenses that work through smartphone apps. These technologies can speed up your journey through security checkpoints, sometimes cutting wait times in half. But here's what the clickbait articles won't tell you. These digital options are completely voluntary. If you don't own a smartphone, if you're uncomfortable digitizing your personal information, or if you simply prefer the traditional method, you can still travel exactly as you always have. You'll use the standard security lane, and that's perfectly acceptable. The only legitimate digital shift involves passport renewal, not the passport itself. The State Department has prioritized their online renewal portal as the primary method. If you attempt the old-school method of mailing in paper forms, you're looking at processing times 2 to 3 times longer than the online system. Keep your physical passport book, but embrace the digital renewal process. Now let's tackle the confusion that has Americans convinced they're being banned from European travel. You've heard the claims. Americans need visas to visit Europe now, just like traveling to China. Some people are saying they'll boycott European travel because they refuse to apply for permission. Let me set the record straight. You are not being banned from Europe. You do not need a traditional visa. What Europe has implemented is called ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System. Think of ETIAS as a digital background check, not a visa. For 3 decades, Americans could arrive in European countries unannounced. Now, the European Union wants advance notice, similar to how the United States has required ESTA from European visitors since 2009. Here are the actual facts. ETIAS costs €7, approximately $8. The application takes 10 to 15 minutes to complete online. Once approved, it's valid for 3 full years or until your passport expires. You can visit participating European countries multiple times during that period. But here's where you need to be extremely careful. Scammers have infiltrated search results. If you search for "apply for ETIAS" right now, the first several results are fraudulent websites designed to steal your money and personal information. These scam sites are sophisticated. They display the European flag, use official-looking blue color schemes, and employ language that mimics government websites. But they'll charge you $75, $100, or even $200 for an authorization that officially costs only €7. Worse, some exist solely to harvest your passport numbers and credit card information for identity theft. The only legitimate website ends with europa.eu, the official European Union domain. If any site asks for more than €7, close your browser immediately. Bookmark the official site now, before you need it. This next rule catches more travelers off guard than almost any other, and it's one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Here's the common assumption. If your passport expires July 10, 2026, you can travel internationally right up until July 9th. It's logical thinking, like a carton of milk being valid until the printed date. This assumption is dangerously wrong and costs Americans thousands of dollars in canceled trips every year. In international travel, your passport effectively expires 6 months before the date printed on the identity page. This is the 6-month validity rule, enforced strictly by most countries in Europe, Asia, and South America. Here's why. Countries want to ensure that if you experience a medical emergency, natural disaster, or any situation forcing you to extend your stay, your passport won't expire while you're within their borders. They require a 6-month safety buffer. Concrete example, your passport expires August 15th, 2026. You book a trip to Thailand departing April 1st, returning April 10th. On paper, you have more than 4 months of validity, but at the airport, The airline's computer system will flag your passport as invalid and deny you boarding. Why? Between April and August, there are only 4.5 months, not the required 6. The airline won't let you board because Thailand immigration will reject you on arrival, and the airline becomes responsible for flying you back at their expense. This isn't a suggestion. This is hard-coded into airline computer systems and immigration databases. No amount of pleading will override it. Check your passport expiration date right now. If it expires anywhere in 2026, do not book international travel without renewing it first. Consider any passport expiring this year as already expired for international purposes. For years, Real ID felt like the boy who cried wolf. Deadlines came and went. Extensions were granted. That era is over. May 7, 2025 was the final deadline. We're now in enforcement, and changes are happening quietly but definitely. If the top right corner of your driver's license doesn't have a star symbol, your ID is not Real ID compliant. In 2006, using a non-compliant license for domestic air travel is gambling with your entire trip. Here's what's happening. Airports have installed new scanning equipment designed to verify Real ID compliance. TSA agents are receiving updated training. The enforcement infrastructure is in place. The catch is, enforcement isn't uniform yet. You might encounter an agent who accepts your non-compliant license without issue. But you might encounter one who follows the letter of the law and refuses security access. The inconsistency is temporary, but during this transition, you're taking a significant risk every time you fly with a non-compliant ID. The consequences aren't minor. If you're denied boarding because of ID issues, your airline ticket becomes worthless. No refund, no rebooking, no sympathy. The solution is straightforward. If your license lacks the Real ID star, you have two options. First, obtain a Real ID compliant license from your state DMV. Be aware, many states have appointment backlogs. Second, and my personal recommendation, carry your US passport for all domestic flights. Even the smaller passport card, which costs less than a full book and fits in your wallet, works perfectly for domestic air travel. Why is this my recommendation? A passport instantly bypasses every Real ID question, complication, and enforcement inconsistency. It's accepted everywhere, every time, with no questions asked. Airlines have discovered a brilliantly profitable loophole, and if you're not careful, it's going to cost you at the worst possible moment. The rumor claims airlines are banning overhead carry-on bags to save fuel. This is partially true, but the real story is about profit. Here's the trap. Almost every major US airline now offers basic economy tickets. When you search for flights on third-party booking sites like Expedia or Kayak, these sites display the cheapest available price prominently. What they don't clearly communicate is that the cheapest price is often a basic economy fare with severe restrictions. One of the most painful, zero access to overhead bin space. Picture this. You book what appears to be a great deal. You arrive with a standard rolling carry-on. The same bag you've used on dozens of flights. You approach the gate, the agent scans your boarding pass, and suddenly a loud beep alerts everyone. The gate agent informs you that your ticket class doesn't permit overhead bin usage. They're required to gate check your bag. But because you didn't purchase checked bag service in advance, you're now subject to the gate checking fee. Typically $50 to $75 each way. For a round trip, that's an unexpected $150. Suddenly, your cheap ticket is significantly more expensive than standard economy. The worst part isn't even the financial hit, it's the public embarrassment. The entire boarding process stops while you fumble for your credit card and complete the transaction, while dozens of frustrated passengers wait behind you. How to avoid this trap? Always examine the fare class details before booking. If labeled Basic Economy, assume you have zero overhead bin access. Read the fine print about what's included and excluded. If you need a carry-on bag, it's always cheaper to upgrade to Standard Economy during booking than to pay gate check fees. The price difference during booking might be $30 to $50, compared to $65 to $75 per bag at the gate. This next topic divides travelers, those who think it's incredibly convenient and those who find it deeply unsettling. If you've flown internationally recently, you may have noticed something different at the boarding gate. Instead of a gate agent checking documents, there's simply a camera mounted on a stand. You walk up, it scans your face, the gate opens, you board. At no point did you present your passport or boarding pass to a human. Your face became your boarding pass. This is biometric exit, now standard at most major international departure gates. Here's how it works. When you applied for your passport, your photo was stored in a government database. When you check in for your international flight, the airline shares your reservation with Customs and Border Protection. When you approach the biometric camera, it captures your live image and matches it against your passport photo in real time. Match confirmed, you're cleared to board instantly. From an efficiency standpoint, it's remarkable. The process takes less than 2 seconds per passenger. Lines move faster, fewer documents need handling, and there's less opportunity for human error or fraud. But from a privacy standpoint, some travelers are uncomfortable with government facial recognition databases for routine travel. Here's what you need to know. As a U.S. citizen, you can opt out of biometric screening. It's not mandatory. If you prefer not to participate, verbally inform the gate agent you're opting out. They are required by law to process you manually using your physical documents. I need to be honest about what happens when you opt out. Gate agents are not enthusiastic about manual processing. It slows down boarding, and you might encounter resistance, sighs, or visible frustration. Stand firm. You have every legal right to opt out. Simply state clearly and politely, "I'm opting out of biometric screening and will present my documents manually." If you don't say anything, biometric scanning is now the default. Your face will be scanned automatically. Now we're discussing something very few travelers know about, even though it's going to affect millions in 2026. For nearly 2 decades, if you arrived at security without your ID, TSA would help verify your identity for free. They'd ask security questions, check databases, fill out a form, and eventually let you through. Slow and inconvenient, but it didn't cost anything. That system is gone. It's been replaced with TSA Confirm ID, and it costs $45 every time you use it. Here's how it works. Instead of a TSA officer manually verifying your identity, you're directed to an automated kiosk connecting to Department of Homeland Security databases. You pay the $45 fee through pay.gov, answer verification questions, and the system attempts to confirm your identity electronically. Who has to use Confirm ID? Anyone who shows up with a forgotten ID, lost wallet, stolen license, expired real ID, non-compliant driver's license, or an ID the scanner can't read. This is where it becomes genuinely problematic. When you pay $45, you're not paying for verified access. You're paying for an attempt at verification. If the system fails to verify your identity, which does happen due to database errors or false negatives, TSA keeps your money and you still can't board. No refund, no supervisor override, no appeal process. You're out $45 and you miss your flight. But it gets worse. The $45 fee covers one direction only. If your round trip exceeds 10 days and you still haven't obtained a real ID or passport, you'll pay another $45 to fly home. For a family of 4, that's $360 in unexpected fees. Most Confirm ID kiosks are card only. Some airports have moved to entirely cashless security checkpoints. If your card is declined or isn't working, you're stuck. You miss your flight over a payment technicality. Imagine this nightmare. You're running late, stressed, your flight boards in 2 to 2 minutes. Before reaching the security conveyor belt, you have to pull out your phone, create a pay.gov account, enter your card information, and hope the system verifies you on the first attempt. This isn't hypothetical. This is happening to real travelers right now. How do you avoid this $45 trap entirely? You have 2 bulletproof solutions. The first option is obtaining a Real ID compliant driver's license with the star symbol. However, many states are experiencing significant appointment backlogs and processing delays. Depending on where you live, you might wait weeks or months for a DMV appointment. This brings us to the second and superior solution. Use your United States passport for all domestic travel. A passport completely bypasses the Confirm ID system. No fees, no kiosks, no verification questions, no time limits. It's instant acceptance every single time, at every single airport. Even the passport card, which costs less than a full book and is credit card sized, works perfectly for all domestic flights. If you want a 100% guarantee you'll never pay this $45 fee, a passport is your insurance policy. You might be thinking about digital IDs stored in Apple Wallet or state-issued digital licenses. Yes, these are rolling out, and yes, some TSA checkpoints accept them. But here's the critical problem. Not every checkpoint is equipped for digital IDs yet. And if your phone battery dies, screen cracks, app glitches, or QR code fails to load, you're immediately directed to the Confirm ID kiosk to pay $45. Digital IDs are convenient when they work, but they're not foolproof. If you choose to use one, always carry a physical backup. Let's bring this together with action steps you can take right now. First, check your passport expiration date immediately. If it expires anywhere in 2026, renew it now using the online portal. Don't wait until you book a trip. Processing times vary. Second, verify your driver's license has the Real ID star symbol. If it doesn't, either schedule a DMV appointment to upgrade it or commit to using your passport for all domestic flights. Third, bookmark the official ETIAS website, ending in europa.eu before you need it. When it's time to apply, you'll go directly to the legitimate site instead of accidentally landing on a scam site. Fourth, always review the fare class details before completing any flight booking. Make absolutely certain you understand whether overhead bin access is included. If you need a carry-on bag, factor the cost of standard economy into your budget. Fifth, decide now how you feel about biometric screening. If you want to opt out, practice saying it confidently. I'm opting out of biometric screening. Don't let gate agent pressure convince you to participate if you're uncomfortable. And finally, spread this information. Millions of travelers are going to be blindsided by these changes in 2026. Share this video with friends and family who fly, especially anyone planning international travel. The travel industry counts on passenger confusion to generate revenue through fees, penalties, and rushed decision-making. The more informed you are, the less vulnerable you become. Safe travels, and remember, knowledge is the best travel insurance you can carry.